It's the morning weather briefing. This is for Friday, June 6th. I'm James Spann. Alabama's weather looking a little unsettled today and over the weekend and next week as well. But understand, no washout. We'll have the sun out at times, but from time to time we'll have a passing storm. And where the storms form, they can be strong. Let's begin with the current upper air look across the country. And that's a pretty standard June look right there. We have the primary westerlies just to the north. We have a ridge just to the south. And in that configuration, these surface fronts drift in our direction, but they don't push all the way through here, which sets up a fairly unsettled pattern. Here's the radar composite early this morning. And again, you can see a line of strong to severe storms along Interstate 44 in Oklahoma. Alabama dry, but later today we'll have some storms around, especially for the northern half of the state. For North Alabama, mostly upper 60s and low 70s early this morning. We're expecting highs in the upper 80s to near 90 today. Going to be a pretty hot, muggy day. Here's the watch warning map nationally early this morning. Flash flood watches for parts of the southern plains. A severe thunderstorm watch for parts of Oklahoma. And later today, the chance of severe storms in kind of a broad zone from the plains of Colorado and New Mexico into New England up toward Boston. And a couple of enhanced risks well to the west of here. And for Alabama this afternoon and this evening, we have a level 2 out of 5 risk from Birmingham north, a level 1 out of 5 risk down to Thomasville, Georgiana, and Eufaula, areas in darker green. And the heavier storms this afternoon and this evening will be capable of producing strong straight-line winds and some hail. No tornado concerns. And really the same thing tomorrow. We have a level 2 out of 5 risk down to Thomasville, Greenville, Eufaula, a level 1 out of 5 risk all the way down to Interstate 10. And understand, it will not rain all day. When people see these maps, they just think it's going to be a rainy day. I would suggest a decent part of the day will be dry, but again, with the storm's form, they'll pack a punch. This is the broader risk tomorrow, running from West Texas to the Atlantic coast. And on day 3, which is Sunday, have an enhanced risk out around Lubbock and Childress, Texas, but a pretty broad risk of strong storms from, again, the plains of Colorado, New Mexico to the Atlantic coast. In Alabama on Sunday, we have a marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5 over much of the state. Small area of level 2 risk over the southeastern corner of the state. And why not? Let's keep going. How about Monday? Again, a risk of severe storms defined for a pretty good chunk of the state, this time the southern two-thirds of the state. And it's the same story. The main concern, strong straight-line winds and some hail. Here's a look at rain for the next 7 days, valid through Friday morning of next week. For most of the state, rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range, about 1 to 2 inches for South Alabama. Tropics just quiet as could be. Absolutely no issues for the next 7 days across the Atlantic basin. So model fans, let's talk about the weekend and beyond. This is the GFS, the 06C run, valid today at 4. And you see the deal, there's a 591 upper high over the Gulf. And the mid-latitude westerlies were basically on the southern edge of those. And with a stalled surface front, little waves in the southern edge of the westerlies, from time to time we'll have rounds of storms, but most of the storms are driven by the daytime heating process, which means the better chance of them will be from roughly 2 until 10 p.m. Let's look at the high-resolution HRRR model. This is valid today at 6 o'clock this evening. And again, understand it will not rain everywhere today, but you can see those scattered storms, pretty random over the northern half of the state, and they can be fairly strong. And it's going to be a pretty hot, muggy day today. Highs in the upper 80s to near 90. So this is tomorrow as the weekend begins. And again, we have many questions about the weekend with so many outdoor events in summer. And let's go right to the high-resolution HRRR. This is valid at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, the HRRR is suggesting there could be something a little beyond your typical scattered storm action here, suggesting an MCS, mesoscale convective system, an organized batch of storms could move through North Alabama tomorrow. And really, based on the herd, the batch of storms would enter the northwest corner of the state up around the shoals late morning or around noon, and then rolling through the northern half of the state. And again, this is at 1 o'clock. And the main concern with something like this always is going to be strong straight line winds. The upper profiles just don't favor tornadoes. Again, we're out of tornado season here. It takes a really unusual set of circumstances to have a tornado threat in summertime. So the main concern, strong straight line winds, maybe some small hail. And then by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the heavier storms with the greatest wind potential into Georgia, but still some showers around here. But notice South Alabama dry during the day tomorrow. Again, if you're headed to the beach, it looks really pretty good. Most of these organized rounds of storms will likely stay north of there, but there's just a few pop-up showers down there. So just be aware if you got something planned outdoors tomorrow afternoon, there could be a batch of pretty strong storms coming through North Alabama with a chance of some really strong winds involved with that. Highs tomorrow should be in the 80s. And really on Sunday, again, the chance of a passing storm or two during the day with highs in the 80s, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. And that's going to be the theme for next week. This is Monday. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. And this is Thursday. And again, most days we'll have scattered storms primarily between 2 and 10 p.m. Not necessarily raining everywhere, and certainly not raining all day. The sky will be partly sunny, away from the storms. And a week from today, this is Friday, June 13th. Same thing. We're on the southern edge of the westerly winds aloft, and we'll have scattered storms around. And understand, if you're new here, having the chance of scattered storms in the forecast, that's pretty much a fixture every day in summer. It takes a really strong upper high with strong subsidence sinking air motion to totally keep us dry on summer days. Let's go out 10 days. This is Sunday, June 15th. Got a pretty nasty 594 heat bubble from near Oklahoma City back over toward Salt Lake City. Really hot and dry there. And there's a downstream trough. And again, we are involved in that downstream trough. So again, the chance of scattered storms will stay in the forecast. This is rain for Birmingham coming off the European ensemble between now and the 21st of June. Looking for the green line on that chart. That's the mean of the ensemble members, about 3 inches of rain. Temperatures off the NBM National Blend of Models. Maybe 90 today. But most days, mid to upper 80s, lows mostly upper 60s and low 70s. Latest long-range guidance. This is for June 13th through June 19th. And if this works out, temperatures could be a little above average then. Ooh, I love a good dust devil. These things are outstanding. This was yesterday up in Lauderdale County, up in northwest Alabama. And, of course, this has absolutely nothing to do with a tornado. No storm. Partly sunny, but this is a ground-based vortex, and you often see these on kind of warm, hot summer days with the thermals, the rising air motion because of the heat. And again, those, when those things would pop up on the playground when I was a kid, all the other kids would run away from those things. Nope, I'm going in. Get all sandblasted and stuff. And on an occasion, they can pick up little small things and toss them around. It's really not a smart idea to run into them, but again, that was a classic Alabama dust devil up in Lauderdale County in northwest Alabama yesterday. Love those things. And it's interesting to watch the little subvortices that get going in there. It's almost like a little laboratory experiment to kind of see how tornadoes actually work. But again, that has nothing to do with a tornado, of course. Ooh, boy, what a sunset last night. Summertime in the Deep South. School's out. It's just a slower time of life for most folks. And the sunset was just perfect last night. Had enough clouds on the horizon to give the sky that texture. And, of course, the Canadian smoke has dispersed. It's gone as the upper air winds have shifted. We might see a little Saharan dust in here from the south this weekend. The models suggesting the higher dust concentration south of here and across the Florida Peninsula. And, of course, that's that dry, dusty air from thousands of miles away that originates off the African deserts, and it makes it all the way across the Atlantic Basin. But that was the Gulf Coast last night. And, again, for those of you planning a trip to the Gulf Coast, don't let all these convective outlooks scare you, the weather's going to be pretty good. The better chance of any organized storms north of the Gulf Coast through next week. Although every day there's always the chance of a pop-up shower there. That's just the Gulf Coast in the summertime, but things are looking pretty good. So again, that's going to do it this morning. We have no book signing tomorrow. Again, the next book event will be in July. We're going down to Washington County in mid-July. We'll talk more about that as it gets close. But we do invite you to watch us on TV this evening, ABC 3340 News. Thanks for watching. Have a great Friday, and God bless.